Should you be mortgage free when you retire? Let's be honest. Debt and retirement typically don't sound great together. And for many Canadians, especially in Northern Ontario, there was a time where you sat around the campfire and were told by either your parents, your grandparents, or even your Uncle Larry that having a mortgage or any sort of debt in retirement is wrong, and that you should probably always pay that down as soon as you can. But is that really the right advice? In this video, we'll look to see if carrying a mortgage into retirement makes sense or not. A mortgage is often one of the most misunderstood forms of debt in retirement. While it's tempting to eliminate it as soon as possible, the decision should be based on your overall financial plan and not just a couple of rules of thumb. Let's review two primary dilemmas most retirees face as they approach their retirement. 1. The traditional view. Many believe that entering retirement mortgage-free provides financial freedom. The idea is that without a mortgage payment, living costs drop, and there is now more disposable income to invest or to spend. Now, on the other hand, with today's relatively low mortgage rates, keeping some debt may actually work in your favor, as it allows your assets to keep growing at a potentially higher rate than that of your mortgage. Now let's look at a fictional scenario to see how these two dilemmas play out. Note that the following is for illustration purposes only. Let's take Bob and Sally, two proud Northerners who are 5 years away from retirement, have a balanced investment portfolio of $700,000, earning a hypothetical 5% per year, a mortgage balance of $200,000, assuming a constant interest rate of 3.5% per year. Each have a pension plan which pays them about $35,000 per year, after-tax expenses of about $100,000 per year, inflation rate of 2.5% per year, and expect to live well into their 90s. Scenario 1. Bob and Sally take Uncle Larry's campfire advice and they decide that they don't want any debt in retirement. They take $200K that they have tucked away in TFSAs and pay off their mortgage in full. Now they no longer have those mortgage payments, but their investment savings have decreased to $500,000. They decide to use that extra free cash and rebuild their deck at camp. Scenario number 2. Bob and Sally keep the mortgage and will continue paying it for about 13 years or so. Now in this scenario, their free cash flow is not as strong as they're still carrying that debt, but their investment portfolio stays at the initial $700,000. So they're compounding a larger balance up front. They're still able to enjoy retirement, but they don't have as much free cash flow in those early retirement years. How does this look like from a numbers standpoint? Scenario 1. Getting rid of the mortgage. Since there is no mortgage payment, Bob and Sally are less reliant on their portfolio in the early years, but as the cost of living increases each year, Bob and Sally need to start drawing from their portfolio more and more as their retirement progresses. Since we started with a smaller portfolio balance, the retirement funds actually run out in their mid-80s, forcing Bob and Sally to make some lifestyle changes, like potentially downsizing the house. Scenario 2. Keeping the mortgage. Bob and Sally assume the same mortgage payments as usual and need to withdraw a little bit more from the retirement savings to cover all their expenses earlier on in retirement. But after 13 years, the mortgage is now paid off and their retirement portfolio is actually able to support them well into their 90s. In this scenario, their savings last them an additional 7 years compared to the first scenario. This allows them to live the life they want for longer. The results clearly indicate that holding on to the mortgage worked out to be the better option here. But let's keep in mind that this only works if your investments outperform the interest rate on the mortgage on an after-tax basis. In other words, putting the money towards a mortgage is equivalent to an after-tax rate of return of 3.5%. And in this case, keeping the money invested was equivalent to an after-tax return of 5%. Naturally, most people would be more inclined to earn 5% versus 3.5% per year. If the rates were reversed, we would have favored paying down the mortgage instead. Now, every retiree situation is going to be different, and factors like risk tolerance, cash flow needs, estate planning goals should all be considered before we make this sort of decision. Maybe ask yourself this: can I comfortably afford the mortgage payments in retirement? Does having debt in retirement keep me up at night? Do I have enough liquidity for unexpected expenses? Am I comfortable with market risk if I choose to invest instead? The answer to these questions will probably be a pretty good indicator as to what you should do. To conclude, a mortgage in retirement isn't necessarily a problem, as long as you are confident in your plan. For some, paying it off is the right move. For others, keeping the mortgage while investing can lead to greater financial outcomes. If you're unsure which path is best for you, talk to a financial planner. A personalized financial plan like this one can help you make the right choice. And remember, retirement should be enjoyable. Don't let a mortgage bog you down. That's it for this video. My name is Tyler Gliebe, and I'm a financial planner with Innova Wealth Partners here in Northern Ontario. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, keep your stick on the ice.